man, 6'5", 108 kilos of pure muscle.
108 kilos.
Yeah, I
You reckon he's 108 kilos?
Yeah, he's. I think he's a bit heavier than that, maybe now.
Really?
Yeah, he's a big boy.
That's huge.
He paid me to read that out, so thank you.
Pay up
Daniel.
merit, and I'll have some cash on the side as well for facilitating.
That'll be a few beers for the Washing J boys after the game, I reckon.
Yes, indeed. Okay, here we go. Could be the last map that we see Atletico in for this season of Overwatch Contenders. They'll be desperately hoping that that is not the case. Once again, they'll have to deal with Sign, though, on the Hanzo, and that has been a real thorn in their side.
They are running the same strategy they employed on Anubis with those 3 combination ults. They're just looking to win one fight here and get the point cleanly. They didn't manage to use those ults very effectively on Anubis. They managed to combo the tank ults instead. So hopefully they can get a bit more value this time.
Passo. He overextended it a little bit there. It almost looks like it does just get out on 200 HP, but it's never fun to see HP go down to half, and what is that from Sign? Wubo just dives straight into a headshot.
It was totally intentional from Sign, a very skilled player. No, he had no idea Wubo was coming up there. He was just shooting an arrow out, and Wubo decided to catch it with his mouth.
Yeah, the cricket team could maybe take a leaf out of his book, because things not looking too great for them either. Regardless, it's a good fight for Order to win. That's a nice flick again from Sign. I mean, wasn't anything special, but every single time I see him shoot an arrow, it's connecting.
Every time he's on camera, he's popping off, so good work from our observer team.
Different from what we've seen in the last couple of weeks when he's on Widow.
Yeah, I don't know what's been up with him. I mean, his Widow play is usually the hallmark of him. He's usually picked for his Widowmaker play. It's so exceptional, but this season he's been very off the mark on that Widowmaker, and Hanzo seems to be his go-to. Just in time, too, as Hanzo to come around meta. A lot of ults on the side of Order here, ready to go. This is going to be a difficult fight for the side of Atletico.
Well, the Maywall goes up. Sign. Does he have some backup here? Doesn't really matter. We jump back over to Wubo, who's looking to build his Dragon Blade up. 99%, and it's just 99% too late. 100% too late. I'm guaranteeing you, it's too late.
I think you might be onto something there.
Hasn't been able to get anything done in that fight.
A D-field EMP coming through this fight. This is going to be the big fight. This is the one they want to win. They won't get many opportunities better than this. Yeah, Order has a lot of ults to deal with themselves, but if EMP can find the Zenyatta and they all get trapped in this hallway, that's a lot of dash resets available for Wubo.
You see this EMP have an impact. D-field almost goes down, but able to translocate out. Lots to play around with though for Order. Jordation, if he can use this Transcendence wisely.
We've seen him faked before, will it happen again?
Looks like that's going to connect onto Jordation. He does get the EMP out though, and Transcendence perhaps too late to save Sign and Unter. But can Order salvage the fight here? Blizzard went out from Yuki as well. Self-destruct still here for Adam, so the tools are there. And Jordation is doing so much damage on that Zenyatta. Backed up nicely by Adam, but it's Wubo, the last to fall for Atletico, the one that needed to have the impact, and it didn't really. Well, I wonder if those players even died too early. I wonder if Passo killed them before he got the reset on his dash.
I think he managed to reset over to the back high ground, but the problem was you killed Unter and what did you kill? Unter and Signed, I believe it was?
Yep.
You can't leave Adam alive. You can't leave Quats and Adam alive together. They have so much clutch potential.
That's fat.
Finds the ball.
Better. That's actually great. That was an excellent replay. But that's what you want to see out of your Zenyatta.
Yeah, especially Zenyatta with as much experience as Jordation has now. He's very sharp on that aim mechanics. Adam and Quats though, you can't leave them alive. They will clutch up every time.
Does know that the immortality field is there, so dives back up on the high ground as he was about to jump off. Minefield now from Passo. He's investing so much time and resources trying to get these players off the high ground, but not really being able to find what he wants.
Zion dying now, 20 seconds on the clock left. This is dominance from Order so far.
Atletico needs to change something up, but it's too late. Like, Passo continually trying to knock these guys off the high ground, it's just not working.
The Wrecking Ball can be quite difficult to play here because once you lose your momentum, you're just a big ult charge, basically. You're just feeding ult charge. And we've seen Order with so many ults this round. Sign using his Sonic Arrow very well too. Not going to get a sneaky Sombra in there.
Hail Mary Sleep Dart from Merit is not going to connect, but Nano Boost does go across. Hunter drops early on in the piece. Jordation, though, still hanging on to Transcendence, and the longer he can do that, the better it bodes for Order. Self-destruct now out on the points. That's from Quad J, but has no impact on Order, who are all safe. Jordation running away from the fight, but it's going to work out fine for Order. A full hold on Nombani. We've seen it before.
It's It wasn't even a close full hold either. It didn't look like Atletico had any chance of capturing the point. They do get to 36, so they've given themselves a win condition. Very important. It's not a lot to work with. They're going to be forced to drop onto this point almost instantly as soon as someone touches it.
Yeah. Well, the benefit is that Quad J does like to play Diva, so it's not like we don't have at least a good contest on the point from Atletico. It's not like, you know, in some compositions we've seen in the past, the bunker compositions being one, particularly when you don't really have a Diva or a Winston or anything to jump down at the point. Once you go on the point, you have to commit to the point. But for Atletico, they will be able to sort of dance up and down as necessary, particularly if Pasto continues to play Wrecking Ball, though I'm not sure that he'll want to on the defense here. I think you're more likely to see an Orisa or a Winston for the first time in what feels like an eternity now.
I think they might have missed a trick or two with that Wrecking Ball pick. It didn't seem like he got anything out of it. It seems like he went into Disruptor on the high ground or the back high ground, but the way the order stack was lined up is the only time he got value was with that big Nano Blade fight.
Yeah.
And that could have hurt them more than helped them with the way that worked out. Very well done from Order to split up and identify when those ults are coming out. We saw it in the previous series with Sydney Drop Bears where they, Warriors, where they split up their players very well when the EMP was coming through. So he had the choice, getting the back line, getting the front line. He chose the back line, and then the front line from Order managed to get the trade kills, and that was the end of that story. Adam is an absolute machine, monster on Numbani first with that Diva.
Well, is it time for Order to secure themselves another semi-final position? They've never missed out on semi-finals, the core of this roster. But they have missed out on grand finals, that is for sure.
Missed out on a couple of them.
Does not look like a semi-finals is going to go missing for Order once again. Interestingly, the same storyline for Sydney Drop Bears, having secured a semi for themselves as well. In fact, Sydney Drop Bears have been in every grand final up to this point.
Sign has taken Merit out instantly too. The barrier comes up. That means there's not going to be much value here. Weaver's not going to find a kill, but he's got an angle.
So very low. The res comes back across onto Merit. Weaver's the one that you're looking to do the damage. It's a nice hold and straight into an arrow from Sign. Good combo from Quats and Sign. Order making the magic happen on point A. This is going to be an anticlimactic finish to the series smash, but it will be Order once again that are going to secure their place semi-finals, as Sign has already figured it out. It's over.
Merciful too, letting Quad J live long enough to kill Jordation. So Jordy goes down, that's his stats worsened. But Order cleaning up, and they looked surgical too. They looked exactly like they have been of old. It looks like the Order of old, where they're playing around ultimates very well. There's obviously big thinking and big planning going into every single point of every map. So that's worrisome signs if you're ground zero or even their grand final opponents if they make it that far.
Yeah, maybe some reinvigorated hype for Order as we will head into semi-finals next Sunday, but Order's looking good. Well, we've seen our two quarterfinals now, and we know what our semi-finals are looking like. What's your bets for Melbourne Esports Open now?
I still have to go Sydney Drop Bears Order. I mean, that has to be the semi-finals I'm looking at. I think Ground Zero and Mind Freak have had exceptional seasons. They've probably overperformed. I don't think they've overperformed. I think that the teams that have underperformed in Warriors and Order have let them
Okay, how about this? Ground Zero and Mind Freak have exceeded expectations.
They certainly have exceeded expectations, and I think there'll be some very happy players on their rosters, but they've got a taste of victory now, and they won't want to give it up. And
maybe,
next week...
Yeah, maybe very sad after next week. I mean, we're talking... It's so funny to predict the quarterfinal teams to be the teams that would go through to the grand finals. You never would have ever done that in the past, but you're right, it's because of this underperformance during the season from the likes of Order, even the likes of Warriors now we've seen, and for Sydney Drop Bears starting off so slowly, but slowly starting to rise up into form. I mean, this is much better from Order. This, outside of the match that we saw against Warriors, is basically the best game that we've seen them play this season. But they certainly seem to be the team that looked most comfortable in the 2-2-2 lock from what we saw today, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I think they didn't try anything too extreme either. They had Yuki on Mei the whole time, Adam on Diva the whole time, basically, and Sign has played around with a few heroes, but he was primarily on that Hanzo, so I think they found a formula that works for them, and that's a formula that isn't easily counterable at the moment. I think that's the most versatile composition at the moment. I think if you play the Widowmaker instead of the Hanzo, then the enemy Roadhog can be picked, and that can work around, or if you pick anything else, there's counters that can be thrown around. But the Hanzo, pretty all-round good hero.
It's got to be a bit of a feels bad for Jordation, though, doesn't it? I mean, he gets replaced by Sign as the DPS player during the GOATS meta, and then we're back into 2-2-2 lock where Hanzo seems to be starting to reign supreme. You'd be like, come on, dude. I was the best Hanzo in the country, in the region in Season 2 in 2018. Or at least that's what people said.
Oh, I'd still say he was this close to making the World Cup roster on his Hanzo alone. And that was a very competitive World Cup roster last year.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him on Zenyatta, though, playing that. It's more of his stronger hero.
How do you reckon old boy Sign would go on the Zenyatta?
I reckon he'd be pretty sharp. I think he'd be clueless, but he'd be sharp. You'd have some transcendences go wacky over here, over there, but that's what Jordation was doing at the start anyway. So
we've been talking quite a bit about Hanzo. Now let's talk about the Macca's player of the game. It's Order and Athletico, and incidentally, it's signed on the Hanzo with the display of the game.
Yeah, the boy wonder is back. He was one of the young prodigies rising up through 2016, 17, even 2018 on HitScan, and he's showing no signs of slowing down. The Team New Zealand representative showing his Hanzo skills to be on point if they want to go further in this competition. Order.
Well, such a huge fight from Cyan. I mean, I don't want to say he single-handedly won that fight, but if you look at that from his POV, you say, yeah, he won that fight on his own, really.
Yeah, certainly.
Just hitting crazy shots with Hanzo. That's something that we're going to look to see going through into the semi-finals. Is that kind of form temporary, or is it more of a permanent thing? I don't know. Has Cyan really stepped up this season, you felt like, or has it been flying a little bit under the radar? Because to me, I think he's sort of flown under the radar up to this point.
I think he's had a pretty poor season. I think he's had a pretty poor season up until now. This is when he can be unleashed on these heroes he's a little bit more comfortable with. Hanzo, not one that you'd typically expect from him, but he's managed to pick it up pretty well. I mean, it is point and shoot, and that's what he's good at.
All right, let's go ahead and point and shoot at the semi-finals, as we've now logged both of those in Mind Freak and Sydney Drop Bears. You're backing Sydney Drop Bears there. Order and Ground Zero, you're backing Order there. Interestingly enough, the two teams through from the quarterfinal are getting Smash's vote. I would be interested to see what everyone else thinks, but definitely some interesting results throughout this season. I mean, we didn't expect Warriors to be out in the quarterfinals, that's for sure. We didn't expect Warriors or Order to even be in the quarterfinals. But it sort of sets us up in a position where, like, the semifinals kind of look a bit wonky, right? I don't think we've seen a semifinals that's looked like this before.
I think this is probably one of the most stacked semifinals. I mean, even last year we had some pretty stacked semifinals with the Warriors versus Order game. We thought that could go any way. Yep. Warriors were playing lots of DPS, well, formerly Blank Esports were playing lots of DPS, and it could have gone anyway, but they ended up swapping to GOATs and kind of falling apart. This could be very close, and Melbourne Esports